Hey, good morning, YouTube, and good morning, the Kayode shirt. I hope everybody is good this morning. About to hop on this Tech Friday system right here. Kayode, yeah, your shirt should say good morning. So, you ready?
Yes, I am.
Alrighty, Smooth 98.1, love music, love life. Welcome if you just joined us here just in time. It's time for Business Express right here. And of course, yours truly, Kayode Bakerr, is leading us through conversations today. And Rotus is here with us this morning on Tech Friday. Good morning, Rotus. How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Good morning, Kayode. Good morning to all our listeners, our YouTube viewers. Good morning to Fisayo as well.
Good morning, Fisayo.
Good morning, Kayode. Good morning, Rotus. Good morning, Lakers. Good morning, everyone listening to us.
All right. If you're out there and you want to be a part of our talk this morning, feel free to jump in and send us messages. Send them to 0809-444-0981. That's our WhatsApp number. So, Rotus, what are we talking about this morning?
We're talking about PAPSS, not the breakfast, not the Ogie and Pap. We're talking about the Pan-African Payment Settlement System. Looks like it launched yesterday in Ghana. And the number of, who is behind this thing? The Afri-Exim Bank, which is run by Benedict Orama, a Nigerian, the African Union and the African Continental Free Trade Area have launched a system that is supposed to allow for ease of cross-border payments. Fisayo, what do you think of PAPSS? What's your thoughts on PAPSS?
I mean, I think it's interesting. At the beginning, I thought that Flutterwave had built this system already. Right. Okay. So let me step back. Right. So PAPSS is a Pan-African payment settlement system, right, that allows intra-Africa trade without requiring a third currency. They still have to explain to me how they will do the exchange rates between Nigeria and cedis, between Naira and cedis, or Naira and shillings, all of that. But they said they can do the settlement without.
Is Fisayo out for a second there? Maybe he has to log back in. Fisayo, if you're there, do log back in. But let me continue the explanation. So, if Kayode, you are Fisayo, are you there?
Yes, I'm back.
Fisayo still trying to find his way back. Okay, so Fisayo,
keep going. So keep going, Fisayo. Fisayo, I have to explain. Using maybe three of us here, if we're in different African countries, I think the emphasis is on local currencies, Abi.
Yes, right. So this is what happens today, right? If you're trying to buy something from, let's say, Ghana, let's say Kayode is in Kenya, is an exporter, I'm a buyer in Nigeria, right? So what happens is that Kayode packages, the things he's selling, right? Send it, through to the bank in Kenya, and then he uses Kenyan shillings, then buys local currency, right? Use the Kenyan shillings to buy what's it called?
Dollars.
To buy dollars, right? Yeah. Then the bank now sends me the dollars in Nigeria. So you always require the dollar or the pound or some other reserve currencies, right, to be able to do trade globally, wherever you are. So imagine you're trying to sell a product between Nigeria and Ghana, which is just about 1 hour by flight. You still have to go and source dollars to ensure that transaction goes through, right? So what PAPSS is saying is that now you don't need that third currency layer again. Right. So if you want to do the same transaction between Nigeria and Ghana, which is about an hour away, you do your documentation, right? After you've done your documentation, you then pay for the goods in Naira, and then your bank, leveraging the PAPSS platform, sends the Naira to your seller in Ghana, but the person now receives in Ghanaian cedis, right? The part I don't understand there is how the exchange rate between Naira and cedis are determined today.
You won't care now. Afri-Exim Bank is handling that one, plus the Central Bank of Nigeria and the Central Bank of Ghana.
How much are you going to pay? Is the question.
Okay, I get you. Okay. Yeah. Right.
So there's still an exchange rate factor in between. And I think that exchange rate factor is still a third currency, meaning that in the head of the people buying and selling, they will convert what you're buying. Let's say you're selling in cedis, like you're selling, they will calculate the value of that thing in dollars, and then you pay the naira equivalent of the dollar value, right? Because that's the only way the exchanges can be determined today. Because I don't think there's except of course maybe Nigeria, Africa then now creates an exchange rate system amongst itself that doesn't require a reserve currency, which is the US dollars, to happen, right? So it means that the currency pairs between Nigerian exchange rates and then the same thing with Kenyan shillings, the same way with the South African rands, the same way with the Egyptian pounds, and amongst all of these currencies. So the same way Naira is having a relationship with Egyptian pounds, cedis will be having the same relationship with Egyptian pounds, and Egyptian pounds having the same relationship with South African rand, and then Kenyan shillings is having the same. So it's going to be messy with the way exchange rate is determined without a third currency.
Okay, well, explain how if you said Flutterwave, even InterSwitch, they have also, these are switch platforms are supposed to be involved in this, right? But how explain, you said Flutterwave had already done this.
Yes. So Flutterwave had built a pan-African, multi-country payment settlement system, actually, right? But I think it is limited to card payments only. So think about it this way. You're trying to buy from a vendor in South Africa, right? You put in your card details. If the vendor is using the Flutterwave platform, right, you put in your card details, right? And then you pay in Naira, and then they process. Of course, the back end involves the dollars, right? So it means that they process, convert it, and then send local currency to the buyer. So that's how. So it's limited to the card payment system, or card systems alone. I'm not sure. I don't think they have bank transfer, which is where PAPSS really sits, right? Because there are huge volumes of trades. You can put your card details for a $1 billion transaction. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Like, or you want to buy 10 billion worth of goods, from another continent, you're using your card to pay. That doesn't work, right? Yeah. But if you're buying, a couple of hundreds of dollars, all of that, you can use your card payment. So Flutterwave seems to have built something that solves that from a card payment perspective. But from a, export, import, high volume perspective is what PAPSS is trying to solve.
Great stuff. Do you think we
have new messages though? So
like
if you're out there, we have messages from our listeners out there. Don't forget.
Yeah, one second. I just want to ask you, beside this. Yeah, one quick. Before we get to the message, very quick, because this keeps coming up. Besides, do you think we should do what they are doing in Europe and have a one African currency to facilitate trade? I know it's complex, but do you think that's the answer?
So if I look at Europe, right, people are, there are pros and cons to it, because it means that you've outsourced your monetary policy to a general, European central bank, right, like they do in Europe. So it means that the localization factor of monetary policies becomes a lot more tricky, right? Yeah. And then that's why people like, even though, yes, what's it called? The UK was not part of the single currency agreement in Europe, then they were still subject to the rules, around what they contribute to the single market, all of that, right? So it becomes difficult when you're a member of a single market, you're now a member of a single monetary system, and then you're having particularly Nigerian issues that your CBN should be able to raise rates or reduce rates, to be able to solve, specifically because it's a local problem for you, right? And then of course you're not depending on the ACB, African Central Bank, to do that. That might be a difficult thing. But that said, right, if it is to ease intra-Africa trade, then a single currency makes perfect sense, right, for that to happen. If it's about easing intra-Africa trade, then the single currency is the way to go, right? It's the simplest way, to solve that particular problem. Again, if it is about easing intra-Africa trade, right? But of course, it comes to its own complexities and what's it called now? It's no, how's it called?
Complexities, you're
Concessions,
right.
yeah.
Yes, no, you're correct. Yeah, it's complexities. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Complexity and concessions, because
thank
you have to concede your authority to a third party. Yeah.
Right.
All right.
Okay, thank you,
Fisayo.
Kayode, go ahead.
Got a few messages. One from Benga Kamu. First one here says, Fisayo, don't sweat the small stuff. A lot of research and thinking would have gone into this, so let's keep our fingers crossed. Fisayo, I sense pessimism in your analysis. This is a message from Laja. Yikabulu comes in to say, do we have like some kind of table showing the volume of trade between African countries? I'm just asking for a friend. Lenin comes in to say, morning guys, this is really interesting for an African trade. I remember when Charles Soludo's midwife the AFC, and one of the aims was to turn the Nigeria to reserve currency. Unfortunately, politics trumped. It would have come in handy now. I pray for the success of AFTA. This is from Lenin. And this is from Otunuga. Otunuga says, with the explanation given yesterday by an analyst on the show with Rotus, if a traveler from Kenya flies a Nigerian airline to Nigeria and then pays in Kenyan shillings, then the Nigerian airline receives the value in Naira. At the end of the day, the Nigerian airline has a pool of Naira. So when the time comes for the Nigerian airline to buy spare parts or the major maintenance overseas, they would need dollars. Where would the airline get the dollars from when its inter-border operations do not generate dollars by this new arrangements? And Laja comes in to say, okay, so he sends us a website and for the PAPSS and says, well, this is the website to the rescue. So thank you so much for that, Laja, as well. But back to you.
Sounds like Laja is very pro PAPSS, but no, Officer point is very well. The back, we have to look at how much the intricacies of how much is good to go for and so on and so forth. I like it. I like the idea, but I still feel that this single currency is where we should go. Although, if how long it took Europe to get there, I don't know if we'll
how
get
long
there.
It's going to take Nigeria to get there. Maybe another 10 years more.
Not Nigeria or Africa. That's Africa. The entire continent.
Yeah, of course. So Nigeria is a part of Africa. I'm just saying. So it will take us another 10 years possibly to get there.
I don't know. Right. I don't know if we'll get,
All right.
What do you think? We're talking about this single currency for is it 30 or 40 years now that we're talking about single Africa?
In fact, we're talking about a West African currency, ECHO.
Yeah.
for years now, right? But of course, Francophone African countries are dependent on euros. I mean, because they're tied to France, all of that. But now I think they're also trying to fight their way out of their French agreement. I don't know if that's a good thing for them, right? But unless that happens, except of course probably use a more stable, CFA rather than try to use Naira or create an ECHO, because I don't know, but there are a lot of intricacies in there.
All right.
Good stuff.
So we're totally out of time though, but thank you so much, guys. Rotus? I was going to say,
we had other stuff we wanted to talk about, but this is such a big story. I said let's focus on that. Maybe next week we'll touch on the.
Can we touch on it in 30 seconds, just to give a headline into what's to come? Okay. What to look out for.
Fisayo, 30 seconds. Kim Kardashian and Floyd Mayweather and Paul Pierce, they've been accused of a crypto scam. What are your quick thoughts in 30 seconds?
I mean, Kim Kardashian is not your investment advisor. It's not a financial advisor to you. So if they are doing anything, it is for their own benefit. So if you're making investment decision based on what Kim Kardashian said, good luck to you guys, right? So now accusing them of pump and dump, that's what everybody does. You prop up the assets you're in, and then if the price increases, you're like, oh, okay, let me sell. That's what happens. So sorry about that. Don't listen to Kim Kardashian as a financial advisor next time.
Oh wow!
So thank you, Fisayo. Very, very, very quickly. It's called Ethereum Max. So Kim Kardashian, Floyd Mayweather, and Paul Pierce, one former NBA player, they were promoting the thing. The price now went down. Then after people bought it, crashed. So now they are suing them in court for pump and dump.
Elon Musk did the same thing for Doge.
Exactly.
Many times over, right? So they are not your financial advisors. Make your own decisions and don't blame any other person for. I mean, the game is the game, right?
Right.
All right.
Fisayo, we're back on Twitter. What's your Twitter handle? Wait, Fisayo on Twitter now.
Aremo Fisayo.
Aremo Fisayo on Twitter. Rotus, what's your Twitter handle?
Such a shame, dude.
Rotan Quotes. Rotan ROTNKWOT. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Rotus. Thank you so much, Fisayo. Thank you so much, Lagos. There is more to come.